Okay, so I kind of wanted to make another video addressing the topic of internalized anti-Blackness that is pervasive within the Black American community, especially like when it comes to topics like mental health and, interracial dating. Like, I know those things are not inherently connected, but let me just get to that point. So before everything else, I wanted to address like the source of inspiration for this video. It's predominantly stemming from the recent case of Ashley Janae, or as she's known by her legal name as like Ashley Robinson. The recent case of her passing in the Tanzanian hotel that's been sparking this conversation online, especially like Black TikTok. And I wanted to give my 2 cents on it and like expand more onto the very topics that I want to talk about. So if you haven't heard of the story yet, there was this Black New Jersey influencer who traveled to Zenzania Hotel in Tanzania for her 31st birthday trip with her, at the time, fiance. And she was found unresponsive in her hotel room and was rushed to the hospital and unfortunately passed away there. They're currently like speculating suicide, but there's still an investigation going on. So I don't want to go into details about that because again, this is a current investigation. And as of this moment, like her family went to travel to like Africa to cooperate with the authorities, and they want to be involved in the investigation. They want to be informed. They want to know what's happening. So I'm not going to talk too much about that specific incident, but I'm going to be talking more about the online discourse that emerged soon after and like broadening it out to the topic that I mentioned about mental health and like anti-Blackness and the hate that I believe a lot of this stems from, because it's relevant, because there's been a little bit of controversy about the victim in this case, like specifically when it came to like old tweets surfacing of her expressing like anti-Black male sentiments. So yeah.
The internet wastes absolutely no time because they have been digging up tweets from the young lady who was celebrating her birthday down in Tanzania that was found hung in the hotel room. It is being confirmed that it is a suicide. We'll go over that later. But the internet has been researching her social media profiles, and they found some very interesting things that this young Black woman had to say about young Black men. So in a couple of tweets, one of them reads, "There's nothing like a man who lets you rest in your feminine energy. Every day, Black men wake up and find new ways to embarrass us."
Now I'm just going to make it abundantly clear, because all the people, specifically the Black people who are sitting there and like minimizing and mocking her death as being like attributing the whole divester thing, and basically saying that because she's a diverster that she got what was coming to her, or that's her karma, or that's what you get, or rest in preference, is what I've heard so much. Y'all make me sick, because we're not going to do that. I'm just so personally disgusted every time I've seen Black people with this type of response when it comes to somebody, whether or not of their like feelings or animosity towards, whether they have animosity towards other people, most likely probably because of their negative experiences, sitting there and downplaying them being killed by a non-Black intimate partner because they were hoping to find love and connection and being included. Like never even thinking for a second like what drove them to not want to associate with Black people in the first place, or not be in a romantic relationship or have any type of positive relationship with Black people in the first place. What drove them away? What drove them to be like this? And not internally reflecting amongst themselves within the community about the ways that you treat each other. It's disgusting. And I'm not like all around, regardless if it's a Black woman who's been a victim in this way, or a Black man that's been a victim in this way as well, because I'm not going to sit there and ignore the fact that Black women do the same thing that some of these Black men are doing to her, this victim, and many other Black women like her. Black women do the same things to some of the Black men who have similar experiences to those women. Like these internalized anti-Blackness that these individuals have built up, which I speculate leads them to seeking out non-black people that reaffirm their anti-blackness and low-key just don't like them because of their own internal, like I said, they have an internalized blackness because of their negative experiences. So they seek out others that subconsciously reaffirm their beliefs. They'll, in one instance, they'll like seek idolization from other races as a means to look for acceptance because they weren't accepted by the members of their own race and people within their own community, especially when you have the pro-blacks that sit there and claim to love black people, but in the same breath, treat each other the dirtiest among everybody else. I know that I'm like rambling a little bit, but this is serious because it's like you cannot sit there and on one breath be like super pro-black and be all supportive, but then treat each other like garbage and behind the scenes. Like you cannot at this point be completely shocked that some of these people become so heavily anti-black and don't want to associate with black people to the point where they try to seek acceptance elsewhere. It's like y'all mock them from trying to seek elsewhere, but y'all never accepted them in the first place a lot of the times. Like you drive these people away and then you complain when these people want to be away from you. What is wrong with you? This is just another example of a lack of a strong foundation within the Black American community that's just super strained and filled with people who are so self-serving and uncaring that there's like no support. There's no communal support or very little communal support. And then when you have the small sliver of black people that want the community to do better, that do everything to help the community, y'all stab them in the back. Y'all take advantage of them. Y'all extract them from all of their resources. Y'all exploit their kindness and compassion to the point where they don't care anymore. They stop caring. They stop investing. Like if you want the black community to do better, everybody in the community has to do their part and do effort. But no, y'all are not doing that. Some of y'all are driving each other apart, which then allows other forces to exploit you as a result. And now I'm going to talk more so about the mental health aspect because of this conversation of people alluding to this persistent idea that black people just cannot suffer through mental health problems. They can't feel suicidal. They can't feel depressed. It's like that mentality is so heavily persistent within the community. Like the idea of there's things like the struggle love epidemic where there's like people are glorifying or romanticizing toxic and super unstable, really abusive relationships and conflating it with just common relationship like conflicts. No, those are not the same thing. Like they think that the relationship has to be this tumultuous in order for it to be strong. No, or the idea of like just in general being the super strong, being on survival mode, because a lot of black people are in very impoverished areas where there's low educational attainment. There's like pervasive issues within health, like crime, safety, dysfunctional families and all of that. Like just being accustomed to being raised in the trenches to the point where they just have this idea that they just have to survive. They have to pull through. And this is also like kind of reminiscent to like the strong, independent black woman element. There's an element of survival to that stereotype within specifically black women of being strong and independent. It's like it's a subcategory of the survival mentality, which leads to people just not acknowledging or as much or taking seriously like actual mental health struggles. Like people cannot recognize people who are struggling like severely, like mentally. Like it has gotten a bit better within the years, but it's still, a lot of black people are still lacking behind. Because I read like a study that's saying that like a little less than like a fifth of black Americans seek mental health or mental health help and professionals in general. Like they don't go to therapy nearly as much as other racial communities in America, like we've seen numerous examples like the Trey Reed situation, where there's still an active investigation going on. People just could not fathom the idea of like a Black person being so overwhelmed with despair that they lose the will to live. Like their will to live is just shattering and shattering and shattering to the point where it just breaks their and pushes them to their breaking point. And they frequently just throw the idea of like, well, like they never seem to be miserable in my eyes. And like, of course they're not. A lot of suicidal people are not going to show their true nature. I mean, how they truly feel. They're going to keep it to themselves. And I feel like that's even more pervasive again in the Black community, because not many people either understand or have the grace or the, this culture of like acknowledging your weaknesses and being vulnerable with each other, because everybody's so on edge and defensive, and like again that survival mentality that's still persistent, that encourages people to be super hardened and kind of like callous in a way. And even if he didn't live in that type of environment, it's like it's still pervasive culturally wise within the Black American community, and many like just I think minorities in general, because that's still like strong within many like overall minority communities. But still, like, and also the instance of like that Black anime cosplayer that took their own life as well. Like there is still remnants of similar discourse of that of like not acknowledging, Black mental health struggles, and that's another one of the many, issues pervasive in the Black community that still needs to be fixed. It's like there needs to be more effort to actually take mental health seriously and actually, encourage environments and creating environments that's hospitable for people to actually grow and sustain and develop in healthy ways. But that's really all I wanted to say for now. Just a lot. But what do you guys think in the comments? Like, just share me your opinions. And like, thanks for listening. If you would like to make a donation, please check out the QR code or the link in the video description for my PayPal account. Thank you very much.